we want more out of life. Hey, what's going on?
Hi, how's it going?
Good. It's good. I'm really glad we decided to go ahead and do this. It's out there for me, definitely, and I really want to make sure that we bring it to the forefront because it's something that everyone kind of wants at some point in their life, and whether they're afraid to ask for it or not, I don't know, but I do want to make sure that we have the capability to help in any way possible.
I agree. You know how I feel about that, and so do all of my
Yeah.
followers too. I see some people hopping on. Hey guys.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining us. So for the next 5 days, what we wanted to do is get on here and talk about different aspects of love in general. So with that being said, I want to cover part of the emotions that go through asking for what you want, and I would love for you to cover all the information that you've been putting out there anyway, which is more along the lines of what makes you happy, what feels good to you. So we wanted to bring that to the conversation today.
Yeah, and you guys feel free to like ask any questions in the comments and get involved because we love that too. We're super excited to get this going and started and
Mhm.
tell you guys all about it. And for my followers who don't know, go check out her page. She's like the mental queen. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
I'm like the dirty queen. She's the mental queen.
But we both want the same thing. We want to be loved and we want
Yeah.
to be respected.
Yeah.
Respected. That's important. So absolutely. So the concept that we're trying to bring out here today, we are actually going to create a Facebook group. It will be a paid private Facebook group, so it is a safe space for people to come in there and actually learn more about how to get to the place that they want to be, the kind of love relationships or friendships that they want to encourage more of, to explore who they are, to be more of themselves, basically, but in the context of love. And the premise behind this Facebook group is for us to be able to answer any questions you have, but I know how it is when you want to ask a question, you're afraid that, you may be judged for it. So the idea being that you join the group for a monthly fee and you ask us questions, whether you ask in the group or you ask us privately. The idea being that once you ask, it's our responsibility to kind of, join heads a little bit and then present information that might be helpful to you so you can get to where you want to go. So, because both of us are life coaches, basically, and that's our whole goal in life at the moment, to help educate so you have a more seamless, peaceful life.
Yeah, and the great part is about having this really safe space, and what we really love about it is that, just because not someone's not saying it doesn't mean that they don't feel the same thing. It doesn't mean that they don't have the same questions, but they're just not sure how to ask it, or they're not sure, they're nervous, right? So
Yeah.
when you can come to us privately, and then we can come to the group together or separate, but having discussed it together, then everyone learns, right? You're going to learn about things that you didn't even realize were out there, or that you wanted to know about, or it's going to be stuff that you wanted to know. We think that it's going to be a really great, safe space for all sorts
Exactly.
of love questions. And, like she said about it could be friendships, right? It doesn't matter. Relationships and love. It's love is love.
And the point is, no matter what your lifestyle, no matter how you identify yourself, it doesn't matter to me. Love is love. Everybody's out there looking for a connection that makes them feel safe, that they know that they can go back to if they find themselves in a difficult situation. That is, it's a trusted friendship that you can go back to. But in order to cultivate those friendships, you need to open up. They need to feel safe enough to open up to you so we can have those conversations. Big disclaimer though, okay? This is not for those of you who are looking for a quick fix, who are going to DM people for pictures, stuff like that's not the space we're trying to create here, okay?
Absolutely.
I want to make sure that's very, very clear. None of this flirting for the hell of a quick connection. This is not meant to be a place that people get love connections. It's more for you to get more information so you love yourself more, so you don't feel guilty or shameful about the things that you find attractive or exciting to you. And it's not meant in any way, shape, or form to judge other people, to put other people down. Everyone has their own way of doing things, okay? Honestly speaking, 3 plus 5 is 8, and so is 4 plus 4, so is 2 plus 6. So I'm not knocking any way that you choose to live, but I do want to make sure that you understand this is a respectful safe space. I don't want you, you know, contacting all the group members. I don't want you reaching out to us and being rude, crude, or socially unattractive. This is a safe space for information purposes.
Yeah, we'll have very strict rules about that because that's not what it is about in any way, shape, or form. And I deal with that stuff on a regular basis, right? And, you know, I post things jokingly about it sometimes, you know, about like, if you send me a dick pic, I'm going to send you a blue waffle back, you know, like that stuff, you know, I joke about it, but it does happen. And that's not what this is about. This is about us helping people. And maybe, you know, maybe you don't know if coaching is right for you. Maybe you're nervous to do that. You know, maybe, you know, being that in that one-on-one type situation is not for you at this point, and you want to try this. It's a great opportunity to be able to see what it is a little bit about, right? And have some real help, because
it's one of those taboo topics we really want to talk about, because it shouldn't be taboo. It shouldn't be one of those things where you know, hush whispers, we talk about it quietly and stuff. And honestly, I've had people send their fair share of requests and pictures, and I wonder now if it's so commonplace that it's kind of like your first firewall. I'm going to send you something that's completely out the way, and if you respond, okay, cool. And if you block me, okay, now I know what I can and can't do. But most people get offended by that. So I'm not trying to upset people. I'm just telling you up front right now, that's not the place we're trying to create. This is not the kind of conversation we're trying to have. We want to make sure that you have all the information. We want to make sure that love is at the core of everything that we're teaching. The emotions that go through actually feeling vulnerable enough to ask someone for something, to tell people that, you know, you have explored and this is what you find more satisfying than something else, and not being offended when someone says no, because no is a complete answer. No is acceptable. You don't need to justify why you say no, and I need you guys to understand that that's where that's coming from.
Yeah, and once we can, you know, guide people better in themselves, then saying those no's are so much easier, right? You worry less about offending people and people reacting poorly when you've created those kind of healthy boundaries within yourself, right?
Exactly.
Really, like, this is going to be a whole, like,
it's different.
Yeah, like
it's very different.
It's like literally everything all in one, right? And like I said before, Pika is just like, she's the mental wizard. She's got it.
I don't know about wizard, but we're working on it. We're working on making sure that everybody understands what our idea of love is. And this is for anybody. And like I said before, this is not for one section of people. I believe that all of us are just human. We belong to the same race, and how we choose to live our lives is, you know, our preference. And that's not right or wrong. It's just our preference, what makes us feel safe and comfortable. So LGBTQIA plus, all of you, I want you to feel welcome and safe. I want you to feel like this is a place where you could finally ask those questions you've been meaning to ask, without finding that, oh, we don't speak to that particular group of people, or we don't answer those kinds of questions. We want to know what's interesting to you, what's important to you, what are you struggling with, because the only way that we can do our job well is to know what it is that you need. So that's why we're creating the group in the first place. The next couple of days, we wanted to address a couple of aspects of what this group would begin to teach, basically. Do you have any specific ones you wanted to start off with, something that we might want to talk about tomorrow?
I think that one of the really important things that I wanted to focus on was, we talk about this all the time, is shame.
Yes, absolutely. What was okay for you to talk about before this? Well, not okay to talk about as a child, that you really wanted, you know, when someone says you can't talk about it, obviously you're going to go research and you want to know more about it. But what are those things that you feel ashamed of to even ask questions about? I know a lot of people feel shame talking about ideal body image. I know a lot of people talk about shame as far as what is acceptable in a couple partnership. I know you talk about a lot of alternative love ideas, and that includes anything from toys to bondage to all of those things. And I think it's important that we have a safe space where people can actually ask about those things. I don't want you to ever feel fear or shame when you want to ask a question. The only questions that I won't entertain, obviously, are the ones that are personal to me, that kind of invade my privacy. So I want to make sure that it's safe otherwise. So body image is big for me. Everyone has their own idea of what's supposed to be beautiful, and it's based on what people have told them and what has been reinforced over the years as they grow up. And that's for men and for women.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a huge way that we get our messages when it comes to our body is, you know, our mothers and how they related to their own bodies, right?
Yeah.
Watching them, hearing them, um, with their own bodies, and then creates those messages in, you know, in children's heads. And we don't realize, you know, as an adult, because we forget those things, right? Like everything's stored in our brains, and it doesn't always come out. But all of those beliefs that we have about all of these things came from somewhere, at
Yes,
some point.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So we want to address all those things. Anything that you might find that you've been thinking about for quite some time. Maybe you want, you know, two more perspectives on how we deal with these things because yes, we're grown adults. We want to make sure that we also are fulfilling our needs and wants and desires, but as respectively as possible. Outside of that, we're going to bring from, you know, our own experiences, what we've learned, what we have discovered after lots of research as well. And that's part of what this group is all about.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can contact either of us with any of
Please
that
do.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah. It's, again, I can't stress enough how confidential everything is. Like,
Yeah.
and I talk about this in my posts all the time. Everything that people say to either one of us is 100% confidential. We're not judging, as
Yeah.
long as there's respect. Then, you know, we're going to give love and kindness back. We're just here to help and, you
Yeah.
know, make things a little bit easier, right?
Yes, absolutely. So without further ado, this is Chantel of Wild Love Nation. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this collaboration with me. I'm going to call it today, but for those of you who have more questions, who do want to be a part of something like this, please send us direct messages either to Chantel or to me, and we will send you the details on how to get to the next phase of this, basically to actually enter the group itself. So without further ado, Chantel, again, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us live. Chantel, thank you for taking the time.
Thank
And
you.
we'll get back on here tomorrow with a subject for us to, you know, to give you an idea of what it is that we're trying to accomplish here. And yeah, in the meantime, send us your questions.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.